some good ones. I'll do some mic brushing too. But let's get started. And sorry if you can hear any background noises. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but I do have neighbors. And I'm unsure if you can hear their TV. I think their TV's on this side, or it's above me in this room. But either way, I can hear it. So I don't know if you guys can hear it. Yeah, so I apologize. This is my first time doing like ASMR during the daytime. I usually do it late at night. But I feel like recording right now. And so that's what I'm doing. But I gotta figure out where to put this. One second. Give me a second. maybe they had asked because you were like doing a lot beforehand. Like maybe you were like and then got up. Which if that's the case, you're kind of doing a lot. Like I feel like at a certain point, it's just like if somebody stinks, you know, you can do a little like, and then remove yourself. I was definitely on a flight recently, and some people were stink. I kept getting seated around kids, and I think they were shitting their pants, or like they were doing something. They were pooping, peeing, whatever. I don't know, but they stunk. They were stinky, 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 stinky. And me and my girlfriend, we would just look at each other and be like, and just cover up our noses and go about our day. But overall, I do think they were asking. So it's just like sometimes if you don't want to, like, if don't ask if you're not gonna like the answer. You know what I mean? Like, just don't ask things that you don't want to actually hear the answer to, because like if you stink, you stink, and I feel like you knew you stink, and to say it was racism is kind of crazy. But we'll move on from that. But to be honest, he might have been, to play devil's advocate, I could see why he was maybe questioning it, because if this is a thing of like the person who moved was white and the family that sat down was like people of color or whatever, I could understand if the white person maybe was making stink faces or was kind of like, oh, they stink, and he didn't really process that as like a stink face. He more so processed that as like oh, these people of color are sitting next to me, like da, da, da. And so then like he got up, and so then, you know what I mean, like he was probably like, why are you moving, like, you know what I mean? So maybe that's why he asked. But yeah, either way, I just feel like you should have just let him move and just like be on about the day. But I would have been smelling myself after that and been like, oh my god, I stink, like this is embarrassing. But okay, next. Okay, this one says, am I the asshole for refusing to attend my childhood best friend's destination wedding after they uninvited my wife? This is about to be messy. My best friend from childhood is getting married. He and his fiance have been together for about 7 years and planned a destination wedding. They wanted a smaller, more intimate wedding and decided to combine the bachelor and bachelorette party into a week-long trip. About a year ago, I was told about the wedding and was asked to attend. I was specifically told that both my wife and I were invited. The only thing we would need is to pay for our airfare. Everything else would be covered. Over the last year, there were multiple conversations confirming that both my wife and I would be able to attend. Based on that, we requested and received PTO from work, paid time off from work, PTO from work, paid time off from work, bought plane tickets and started preparing for the trip. We bought clothes and other things we would need for a week-long destination wedding. After a month and a half before the wedding, my friend told me there was no longer space for my wife. Apparently, she had been cut from the guest list, and there was only room for me. He also mentioned that numerous other guests were upset. Some people had to pay for their own accommodations elsewhere if they wanted to attend after previously being told they would be covered, and some guests had their invitations revoked entirely because there were overcapacity. I was honestly shocked. I told him that if my wife couldn't attend, then I wouldn't attend either. I asked him what happened and why the situation occurred. I wanted he kept saying that, where was it? Wait, I told him that while it was absolutely their wedding and their choice, they had set clear expectations a year in advance and repeatedly confirmed those expectations. Now, after people had spent money, used BTO, and made plans, they were changing things and expecting everyone to be okay with it. He and his fiance have taken no responsibility for the situation and instead blamed the guests for overreacting. He also told me that I was the only one making a big deal about not being able to bring my wife. To be clear, I never demanded that they re-invite her. I simply told him that if my wife wasn't welcome, I wouldn't be attending either. Am I the asshole for being angry about this and refusing to go to the wedding? I think I was gonna say a solution could just be like the wife still goes, but she just doesn't go to the wedding. But then I realized they paid for like, well, I'm a little confused because he had went back and said that not everything was covered anymore. But I think that was just for some people. Like, I think his stuff was still covered. I was gonna say the wife could still come and then like they could just like, she can still enjoy like the vacation and like where they're at and whatever destination they're at, and you know, still enjoy her week-long time period off, and the husband and her can hang out, and then the day of the wedding they just don't, you know, hang out together. But if it's like all paid, there's no point in her paying for her own hotel, you know what I mean? Like, so are you the asshole for not going to the wedding? I don't think so. I think that they're very unorganized. I think that how do you not, like, how are you planning your own wedding but you don't know the capacity? It kind of sounds like you didn't realize that you wanted to invite other people and you liked other people more, and then you realized and you were like, oh, somebody's gonna have to get cut, and you cut the wife. And if it were me personally, I'd be in a really hard place. I'd want to go because I'd want to go support my friend, but also I'd be like, you're really unorganized, and you know, I don't know, but I also wouldn't want to ruin their day. It's kind of hard because I'm really close with my friends, but my friends are also really close with my girlfriend. Like, we're all pretty close, so I don't know. Do I necessarily think you're the asshole for not going? Not necessarily, but I still think you should go. Like, I think you should still support your friend, even though they made that mistake. And if you are okay with your wife not going, you said you're not. You said, to be clear, I never demanded that they re-invite her. I simply told him that if my wife wasn't welcome, I wouldn't be attending either, which I can understand that take. But I also think you should go support your friend. But I don't know, this is kind of a hard situation. I think I would end up still going if my wife was okay with me going. But like, if my wife really felt a type of way and was like, no, that's really weird, which I'm sure like I would probably feel like that's really weird, especially because they've been saying I could come and I already took time off. Like, yeah, that's just really annoying. I don't know, they're just really unorganized, and yeah, I don't know. I don't blame you if you don't go, but that might be the end of y'all's like relationship and friendship, which, I mean, that's just, if you want to deal with that, if you're fine with that, then let that just be that. But yeah, I don't know. I was trying to think of solutions, but it might not really be. Comment down below if you guys think, like, what would you do in that situation? Because that one's kind of like a hard one. It's like, I don't really know what I would do. I would definitely probably not go to Okay, she stayed because that would have been a lot to be like in front of everybody and all. Their, I read it wrong at first. It's their friends. So that would have been really wrong if you were like, bruh, in front of everybody. Because that's just kind of like more of a personal like problem that just needs to be put in closed doors. After I got home, I found that he sent me a message on Snap that said, "Did you like your gift? I feel like you don't." Which I replied to him with, "To be completely honest, it was my favorite, but I genuinely do appreciate the effort you put into the gift." Okay, I feel like you're not being fully honest though. Like, you know you don't like that gift, but I can understand still being grateful. But the way you just need to be saying it was my favorite. Like, you know what I mean? Just say, "I kind of told you in the past, I'm not a fan of them. I think they're a little ugly. I do appreciate it though that you got them for me, but in all honesty, like, I just kind of felt like you." How I would have said it is, I just would have been like, "In all honesty, I just kind of feel like you got a gift that you would like, and didn't really necessarily like have me for real in mind." Which I feel as though when you're dating somebody, like, oh, my little kitty cat. You're a bird. My little kitty cat. But yeah, I just would have probably been like, I don't know, I just feel like you were kind of thinking about yourself. Like, I do still appreciate it because I'm assuming these nothing headphones are expensive, so like he obviously was like caring, but it's just like you could have spent your money on something else, and plus we've been together for 2 years, so like, you know, that's like not my style, you know what I mean? Okay, to be completely honest, it wasn't my favorite, but I generally do appreciate the effort that you put into the gift. He then got all defensive and started sending paragraphs make it more to like cater to them, you know what I mean? But either way, I will say in this situation with the information given, you're not the asshole. And I think, yeah, like I think he just wanted to break up. And to break up with you on your birthday, it sounds like, because it literally sounds like he sent it that night, you guys hung out on your birthday. That's kind of crazy. He doesn't really consider you, and you kind of deserve better. And maybe he deserves better too. Maybe he deserves somebody who likes nothing headphones. I don't know. But let's actually look up what nothing headphones are, because I'm a little curious. I'm a little curious. Yeah, these are ugly. These are the nothing headphones. And they're like $300. It seems like he just wanted to buy those headphones for you, give it to you for a birthday. He knew you were gonna not like it. And then he was like, I'm gonna come pick up the headphones then since you're such an ungrateful bitch, da 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 da. And then wanted to break up anyway. So like that was just this way to break up too. Kind of a messy situation. But I don't think you're the asshole. I really don't. And they're like kind of ugly, but they're also kind of cute. I don't know. I kind of like them. I like them. I don't like them for me, but I like them for like somebody else. Like I could see somebody with like that kind of aesthetic, and just like I could see somebody like style them like really cute, and like yeah, but that just seems like something he wants and not something you want. But yeah, I don't know. Am I the asshole for refusing to follow my friend's parents' house rules and leaving? Let's read this. These be so interesting, because I like don't be interested, but then it's also like, well, actually. Am I the asshole for refusing to follow my friend's parents' house rules and leaving? My 22 female. Oh, okay. Me, 22 female. Boyfriend, 23 male. And I have been together since high school. Almost 6 years. We just moved in together and I graduated in May. We're not officially engaged yet, but planning to get married once he finishes grad school. An old friend from high school invited us to his family's beach house for the holiday last weekend. When we got there Friday, we realized his mom and dad were spending the weekend too, which was fine. It's their house and they seem to have their own plans for the weekend. They were happy to let us do our own thing during the day, and they had drinks in the hot tub with us Friday evening and were actually really cool. But that night, when my boyfriend and I started getting ready for our bed, our friend's mom pulled me aside and said that my boyfriend would need to sleep on the couch in the living room instead of with me in the guest room because we aren't married. Okay. I was surprised because our friend hadn't mentioned this, and my boyfriend and I lived together and everything. I said okay, but felt really uncomfortable. I have trouble sleeping in new places, and sleeping next to my boyfriend helps. My boyfriend also was annoyed that he had to sleep on an uncomfortable couch when there was a perfectly good bed. So we decided it would be best to get a hotel in town and meet up with our friend the next morning. When we told our friend, he was kind of weirded out about it, but said okay. So we left and checked in our hotel. The next morning we called to see what time our friend wanted to meet up. He seemed mad and he couldn't hang out, and that his mom and dad flipped out at him for letting us go to a hotel and said we didn't appreciate their hospitality. So we ended up just doing our own thing for the weekend and not seeing our friend at all. Our friend texted us today, Monday, saying he was really angry that he couldn't have slept apart for 2 nights just to make my parents happy, and that we won't be invited Are you wrong for going and getting your own hotel? No. You're entitled to want to spend your money however you want. You're entitled to be together. You guys are entitled to do whatever you want. I do think if you just left and got a hotel without telling the parents or thanking the parents for what they have given you or just anything like that, or I think we're missing some information. I think you needed to talk to the parents and explain, like, well, I don't really want to sleep on a couch. I don't really think that'll be that comfortable, and I think to make you comfortable, so and to respect your rules of us not sleeping together, I think it'd be best if we got a hotel, because I also don't like to, like, sleep alone. Like, I like to be with somebody, and I just want to respect your rules, and so therefore I think it would just be best if we got a hotel and then met back in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, I just think some communication was lacked, and so I think therefore that's why everybody's really mad. I think the mom's reasoning is a little, for me it's a little extreme, but I can understand it and I can respect it, and I understand, like, if she feels uncomfortable with that, then she feels uncomfortable with that. So it's just kind of like that, but it also could have been disclosed sooner. I don't know, but I do think maybe some lack of communication is causing the issue, and I can understand everybody's point of view. So yeah, I don't think you're necessarily an asshole, but I do think that maybe the situation just could have been communicated a little better and a little clearer, so that everybody wasn't so, like, triggered. Am I the asshole for telling my chronically single friend to buy a cat or hire an escort instead of using women as a free antidepressant? Okay. I, 29 female, have this friend, 35 male, let's call him G. He basically wants a woman to act as his free therapist and personal antidepressant. For months he complained every single chance he got. Out of politeness, I never changed the subject. I just listened to his terrible dates where every woman was crazy. However, he casually admitted to completely sabotaging himself before. He was madly in love with a girl, but pretended to be in love with her sister instead, causing massive drama. He actually had to change his entire friend group because of this behavior. He's now in therapy, but his mindset hasn't changed. I gave him endless advice on socializing, but he refused to self-reflect. Finally, I texted him some tough love. You need to find happiness within yourself. It shouldn't depend on another person. Amen, amen, amen. I then suggested adopting a cat to help him with his lonely routine. So that's where you're kind of wrong. Like, I don't think he should adopt a cat, because, like, I don't know, that's like another being that he genuinely needs to take care of. And if he's, like, already, not saying that depressed people can't take care of stuff, but he just doesn't really seem like a person who would necessarily, like, genuinely take care of the cat and, like, make sure the well-being of the cat is, like, fully good. But I also can understand using cats as, like, therapy, because my cats, I love my cats. We cuddle when I'm sad. We cuddle. But I don't know, it's kind of crazy to tell somebody to get a pet if they don't already want the pet. Like, you should only get a pet if you really want the pet and you can afford the pet. So you're kind of wrong there, but everywhere else you've been kind of, like, fine. And I think as friends you should be able to call out your friends. He got deeply offended, claimed he works 12 hours a day so he can't, and snapped, human love is superior. You don't know what real love is. You're just speaking from your own personal experience. Excuse me, I am in a happy, stable relationship. In fact, the fact that he tried to diminish my relationship and implied that I'm speaking from a biased place just to reject sound advice blew my mind. He has massive double standards. He claims all women are crazy. He watched a TV show where a female character lost her temper because all of her friends died, and he smugly said, typical. The one who goes crazy is a woman person. So you're not the asshole, he's the asshole, and I don't like him, and I'm not gonna read further because I'm about to get pissed. Genuinely. What does WIPTA mean? I want my family to get out of my house, and I plan on asking them to find other living arrangements as soon as possible. For context, I, 28 female, have my own house, 3 beds, 1.5 bath, that I purchased on my own with no assistance from family, friends, etc. Period, girl. You got money, 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 money. I use one bedroom as my bedroom, and another is a setup as my office since I work from home full time. A couple of years ago, my mother, 51 female, and grandmother, 70 female, moved into my house after facing eviction with the plan being that they would save up whatever money they can and leave once they have saved up enough, with the estimate being 9 months to a year. A few months after move-in, they moved in my aunt, 50 female, which was not planned or even discussed. But I care about her and would rather be a little cramped and uncomfortable than to see her or them be homeless. Now they have not saved a cent and do not seem to be working on saving. They have been giving me some monies, $450 a month, to help with the difference in utilities and household items that I pay for. However, they are often asking me to pick up things for them, take them places, borrow my car, and sometimes my money. I also became responsible for the vast majority of all laundry, cleaning, and cooking just to maintain the home. I also buy the bulk of the groceries and the household supplies, toilet paper, cleaning supplies, etc. I want to sit down and have a conversation. Okay, then do it. That it is time for them to start looking for other accommodations, as I truly do not want them living here anymore. I am tired of sharing my space and feel like I'm sharing my wallet. Oh, will I be the asshole? Will I be the asshole for telling them I do not want them living here anymore and to look for another place to live? I think it's all in the way that you go about saying it. I think you need to be respectful because at the end of the day, that's your mom, your grandma, and your aunt, and I think they're a little wrong for letting your aunt live there when they didn't even ask you or talk about it with you first. But obviously you're close with your aunt and stuff, so you didn't seem to mind too much. But I do think that was a little crazy, especially because that's not really necessarily even their home. That is your mom, so I do think, to a certain extent, she does have a right to live there because she did home you for 18 years, or 18 years plus. You're 20s. Well, you're 28 now. Yeah, you're 28. So, maybe after college you went back home. Who knows? But I can understand you not wanting them to live there anymore, and I think you're not wrong for not wanting them to live there anymore, especially if it's cramped and you just want your own house. Like, you're 28, girl. I can understand wanting your own house and to be away from your family, because no matter how close you are to your family, once you get to a certain age, it's just okay, let me just be on my own. I can understand it's crowded. I can understand being annoyed because you constantly have to look out for them, and you're constantly doing everything around the house. You're buying everything for the house, and they are giving you some money, which is nice, but it's still just you need to be saving up and leaving. That's what we agreed upon. And so yeah, I don't really know how well that conversation will go, because I'm sure she'll probably pull the card of I'm your mom, you're trying to kick your mom out of your house. But I also think she does need to be Let's read two more. Am I the asshole for protecting my feelings after my friend tells me I'm the ice cream flavor no one likes? That's kind of crazy. Okay. Hello, this is my first time posting on Reddit. So here it goes. I, 20 female, have been friends with this girl, let's call her Kate, 21 female, for about a year. But we grew closer over the past few months. When I first met her, I thought she was fake and kind of self-centered. But I will admit that I may have been a little biased. My best friend at the time, Alice, 20 female, seemed wooed by her. And they did everything together. Though I thought we were best friends, and I also had known Alice for a year at that point. She was one of the friends I made in college, and we are on similar career paths. So we study and hang out a lot. I'm including Alice here because I thought my initial read of Kate was simply because I felt left out and like I was losing my best friend. Despite my initial concerns, I decided that I was being ridiculous and that there was no reason for us to not be friends together. This did not turn out as expected. Let me tell you one thing. Your intuition is usually right, and I know from you specifically, when I don't really like somebody, my intuition is always correct. Like, I don't know, when I just don't feel right about somebody, I'm usually correct most of the time. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, trust your intuition, guys. Trust your intuition. Trust your intuition. Trust your gut. These are my nails, by the way. 3 months, everything was great. We were a trio. I had always believed that trios wouldn't work because someone would be left out, but for a while that wasn't the case. Unfortunately for me, once the new wore off, the truth became clear. Alice and Kate were besties, and I was just a backup. They would hang out without me and talk about their plans in front of me. Girl, yeah, just don't be their friend. When we rode somewhere together, they would sit up front, and I was always in the back seat. They made me drive a lot because I lived off campus. But if one of them drove, they would pick me up and drop me off first because I lived further away. Oh, they would pick me up last and then drop me off first because I lived further away. Not true, lol, but whatever. I put up with it for a while and tried not to read too much into it. The issue started to arise at our sorority's formal. To make a long story short, I had a terrible day and wasn't able to go to the formal. Kate convinced me that I needed to drink alcohol to chill out, even though I was fine, just a little emotional. They convinced me to wear a dress that didn't fit the theme, and I felt like an idiot. While at formal, she insisted that my long-term boyfriend, Liam, 21 male, hold her phone and purse. She kept commenting on how she forgot how great it is to have a man. Excuse me. No, literally. Then he went to get some ice cream per Kate's request. Liam was driving my car, and when we were in line, Kate started yapping about what ice cream flavor I would be. She said, "Oh my god, Liam, do you know what ice cream flavor my name would be? She would be a Rocky Road because no one really likes it." Girl, these have not been your friends, and wait, which one said that? Kate said that. Yeah, these girls have not been your friend, and no, these aren't your friends. I'm sorry, and they've never been your friends. You need to drop them for real, like seriously. Now it might be a little more complicated because you guys are sorority sisters. I'm assuming because you said we're a sorority, so I'm just assuming all of you guys are in the same sorority. So it's a little messier when it comes to that, but I mean, just keep it business and keep it pushing, and don't be friends with them and don't hang out with them outside of when you have to, because girl, these are not your real friends. These are snakes. They probably talk so much shit about you behind your back. This is crazy. And talking up to your boyfriend like that is actually wild. Like, I don't like it at all, but once you be rock road, because no one really likes it. Like, I don't like it at all, but once you try it, you kind of start to like it, and it has all these layers. Like, it's deeper than you thought, but you have to learn to like it. okay, bitch, I could say the same thing about you. And let me tell you something, I would have had to go off on that bitch. I can't even lie. Like, I genuinely would have had to go off because what are you even talking about right now? And I know you're not trying to diss me in front of my man because that's weird. And I hope your man defended you and was like, actually, no, she'd be fucking strawberry ice cream. Or, no, she'd actually be fucking vanilla ice cream with some caramel because she tastes good as fuck. Yeah, no, she's weird. She went on, and I started crying. She's mean as fuck, and to drag it is crazy. The car got quiet, and Liam handed me some tissues. Break up with Liam. Don't actually, but he's weird as fuck for not defending you, and you need to actually be mad at him and be like, in the future, can you like defend me? Like, that was weird. So I don't know if he's friends with your friends, but maybe something's going on with Liam and her. I don't know. I might be speculating, and I definitely am, but I don't really care. Like, that's weird. That's weird that he didn't defend you, and that's weird that she's just openly being able to say that, and that she's openly able to just give her stuff to him. Like, no, she's weird. Then we pulled up to order. I said I didn't want anything, but she still ordered. She asked Liam if I was okay when we dropped her off. This pissed me off, so I left and didn't text her much. Am I the asshole for protecting myself? Girl, no. No, you're not the asshole. Girl, you need to leave them. You need to leave them. And she's weird as fuck for asking Liam if you're okay instead of just asking you if you're okay. And I can understand being friends with somebody and like saying something a little mean and not realizing you're being mean. But that was like, she dragged it and she's being like really, really mean. Like, she did it on purpose to be mean, especially in front of your boyfriend, especially after saying she forgot how good it is to have a boyfriend. So she's really trying to dog you because she wants your man, and she's weird and she's jealous and bitter, and that's weird. I can really understand saying something that like upset your friend and then like feeling bad and being like, I didn't mean that. But a real true friend would be like, I'm so sorry, like I didn't mean it that way, I'm so sorry I hurt your feelings. Like, because honestly sometimes you can joke with people one day and it's perfectly fine, it's funny. The next day you same joke and it can make that person cry, crumble, you know what I mean? So it's just like, you never truly know. And if you're a true friend, it's okay, like, and you would check on them and be like, are you okay? Like, I'm so sorry I said that. I would never say something like that again. Like, I don't know what came over me, you know what I mean? Like, a true friend would generally check on you and like actually care about you, but she just asking Liam, like, she don't give a fuck about you. And this actually is really, like, I'm actually getting really passionate about this, but she's a terrible friend. You need new friends, and I feel very sorry for you. And you low-key need a new boyfriend too, but we'll get into that later. Okay, we're gonna just read one more because otherwise I'll keep reading for hours on end, and I honestly could, but I feel like this is already gonna be too long. Am I the asshole for not letting my upstairs neighbor use my balcony for her plant photo shoot content? Okay, let's see. Okay. I'm 24, a registered wellness therapist working long, exhausting hours in a busy establishment. I come home drained, and one place that restores me in my ground floor balcony, a small and beautiful private garden I built over the last 1 year. Period. How I'm trying to live. What started as bare concrete is now my cozy sanctuary. Beautiful. I love to see it. I've grown herbs like basil, mint, rosemary, and lavender from seeds and cuttings. Bright petunias and marigolds spill over the railing, while trailing pothos and strings of pearls drape from hanging plantaries. Fairy lights, a secondary bistro table, and soft cushions complete the space. I already know it's beautiful up there. Mornings find me here with my coffee, checking leaves, pinching dead blooms, and breathing in the calm and soft light filtering through the courtyard trees makes everything feel alive and gentle. This garden is my mental health lifeline, the only space that truly belongs to me. My upstairs neighbor, 28 female, is building an Instagram presence as a plant influencer. Our building is old enough that quick. I politely declined. I work weird hours and really value the privacy of my space. Plus, with my asthma, smoke exposure isn't good for the plants. She followed up quickly. It will only be an hour here and there. Your setup is so aesthetic. I held firm and suggested alternatives. A nearby public botanical garden with great light or lighting tips for my own plant photography, and she deterred. Soon, handwritten notes appeared under my door. Really disappointed. Your balcony could help my content so much. Girl, this is crazy. Another read. I've been working hard on this journey, pretty pleased. Then she brought it in our building's group chat. A neighbor replied with encouragement, and one even tagged me, suggesting I let her shoot there. The pressure left me feeling guilty, and part of me wondered if I was being selfish. Girl, you're not. But this balcony isn't a studio. I didn't want there to be a host of photo shoots after brutal shifts. I've invested time, money, and love into every plant. The trailing vines I started from tiny cuttings now thrive. The lavender suits me. After dealing with chaos at work, I need the space to decompress without cameras, tripods, or strangers rearranging my things. The smoke concern is real too. Even just stepping away leaves residue. That triggers my asthma. My privacy and health matter. Exactly. I've started ignoring the notes and muted the group chat. She gives me awful looks in the parking lot, and I know my limits. Boundaries aren't petty, they're necessary. This garden is my escape, my therapy, my small victory in a hard world. It doesn't need to be shared. Honestly, amen to that. And she's really crazy. She's actually really crazy, and like she really feels so oh my gosh, what's the word? Oh my gosh, what's the word? She feels so fuck. Oh my god, what is the word? She feels like oh my god, what's the word for when you like entitled? Oh my gosh, I don't know why I thought it was a C. Maybe there is a C word that also means entitled, but she feels so entitled to your space, and that's really crazy because that's your space. And for her to try to act like that is her space in like the Instagram, like she said she's gonna tag you, but she knows she's not. And I don't know. I think a more realistic, like, and a good solution for both parties would just be you can go up there and maybe like give her a clipping of your plant and be like, here, like you can, you know what I mean, like you can. I'll show you how to like grow this, and you can grow yours to be similar to mine. But no shade, this is my space, and I'm big on like not letting negative energies and negative people into your space. Like your space is your space and your space only. And so therefore, I do not think you're the asshole. I think honestly she's crazy for feeling so entitled to your space, mind you. And for other people to feel so entitled to your space too, and being like you're doing too much is crazy. Like honestly, like, yeah, she might just be on my balcony and taking an hour-long video, but also, if you guys don't even have an established friendship, like, if you guys were friends, then maybe it'd be different, but you guys aren't friends, you're just neighbors, and, like, that's just really crazy. Like, that's just really crazy to me, that she feels so, like, wow, that's really, you're not the asshole, she's the asshole, actually. Like, that's crazy. That's actually really, really, really crazy. And, yeah, but that's gonna be it for today. Let me know what you guys thought about any of the stories. If you disagreed with any of my points, if you have any new points, I'm down to hear what you guys have to say. But yeah, I hope you guys